please welcome Wellesley College Chair of the Board of Trustees, Laura Daniel Gates.
We invite you to listen to percussive rhythms from the Wellesley Studies by Gert Dollander, performed on the Wellesley Carillon, to begin our ceremony. Following the Carillon, please remain seated for the invocation spoken by our Wellesley chaplains led by Dean of Religious and Spiritual Life, the Reverend Tiffany Steinwert.
Let us be together.
In this moment of new beginnings, our hearts are filled with gratitude for our Wellesley College community and with hope for its future. Nestled beside the beauty of Lake Waban, we give thanks for the vision of those who have guided our institution for generations, devoting their lives and legacy to our beloved community. On this historic day, we give thanks and celebrate. We give thanks and celebrate their unswerving commitment to diversity, their boldness of insight, and their dedication to human flourishing. We pray that we too may follow in their paths.
Awaken us to the spirit of truth, beauty, and hope at work in the world. Inspire us to grow beyond the limits of our imagination, increasing our capacity for innovation and global leadership. Foster in us a gentle humility, mindful that our collective achievements are only as valuable as the ends to which we put them. And send us forth as wholehearted stewards of a better, more just world.
Standing on the precipice of possibility, we gather in eager anticipation of all that is to come as we recommit ourselves to lives of honesty, integrity, and respect. In our ongoing pursuit of academic, intellectual, and spiritual excellence, may we ever strive to live in balance and harmony with each other and with all living things.
May our hearts and minds now be as one, as together we look forward to a future with hope. And so we now say,
Amen.
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 So may it be, and amen.
So be it, and so may it be.
And may all beings be safe, happy, and free.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor and great pleasure to welcome all of you to Wellesley today. Welcome faculty, faculty emeriti, staff, union members, students, and alumni. I'm loving all those colors. Welcome former presidents of the college, trustees, trustees emeriti, and former trustees. Welcome official delegates from other institutions, distinguished speakers, friends of the college, and family and friends of the president. Welcome all to the official installation of Paula Johnson as the 14th president of Wellesley College. The installation of a new president is always an historic moment in the life of the college. The words of Bishop William Lawrence, looking back over 25 years at the inauguration of Caroline Hazard, Wellesley's 5th president, are as true today with the perspective of 140 years. The standard of scholarship, culture, and character of the students has steadily risen. At the inauguration of each of her presidents, Wellesley has stood higher in the world of letters and the esteem of the American people. Grateful as we are for the worthy record of each president, we look forward with even fuller confidence and higher hope to the administration of our new president. That confidence and hope brings each of us here today to this grand tent on Severance Green on the shores of Lake Waban. In this next part of the program, formal greetings will be brought to the president by various representatives. It is my honor to introduce the Honorable Elizabeth Warren. The senior United States Senator from Massachusetts, who brings greetings on behalf of the Commonwealth. Senator Warren was the driving force behind the creation of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and served as chair of the Congressional Oversight Panel for the Troubled Asset Relief Program. A law professor for more than 30 years, most recently at the Harvard Law School, Senator Warren is the author of 10 books, including A Fighting Chance, The Two-Income Trap, and All You're Worth. Senator Warren, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, faculty, staff, alumni, students, and guests. I am delighted to join you today to celebrate Paula Johnson's inauguration of president at Wellesley College. This is as good as it gets. Yes. Now, I am also particularly happy to join you on this occasion because being on a college campus feels a little like coming home for me. It makes me want to whip out a seating chart and call on someone, preferably in the back row. But being here also gives me a chance to acknowledge all the Wellesley women who fought so hard 4 years ago to make me the first woman elected to the United States Senate from Massachusetts. Thank you. Thank you, Wellesley women. You were amazing. And you know, by the way, that very intense experience with the Wellesley women causes me to bring a very personal message to Dr. Johnson, and that is, get ready for the adventure of your life. You are about to lead a university of some of the smartest, toughest, most passionate women on earth. I love it. Today is also a particular pleasure for me because I've had the opportunity to work with Dr. Johnson, and I have come to know her as a woman of great vision who pursues excellence with sharp intelligence and unwavering determination. She has many strengths, but the innovative leadership and focus on community that President Johnson brings to Wellesley is especially important as the college prepares a new generation of women to be leaders in the Commonwealth, in the country, and in the world. This is a time of both incredible promise and immense challenge in America. In many ways, our country has made significant progress over the past several decades when it comes to breaking down barriers to opportunities. Key civil rights protections have been passed. Marriage equality is now law of the land. Millions more Americans have access to health insurance coverage. There is growing racial and gender diversity in positions of leadership, including, as some of you may have heard, one Wellesley alumna who is on the cusp of shattering the highest glass ceiling of all. But it is no secret that this is also a time of deep uncertainty for millions of people. Social and political divisions are sharp. Verbal attacks on Latinos, Muslims, women, immigrants have created a constant refrain of barely submerged bigotry and hate. Black men have been killed by those sworn to protect them. America's incarceration rate is higher than any other country on the face of this earth, and millions of young people graduating from college, millions more longtime workers, and millions of seniors face the same harsh reality: an economy that isn't working for them and a future in which basic economic security is slipping out of reach. Government increasingly works for those at the top, while more and more Americans are left behind. We face extraordinary challenges if we are going to build an America where all of our children have a fighting chance to succeed. To do this, our country needs college graduates who understand the difficulties we face, who believe in the importance of service, and who are ready to roll up their sleeves and get the job done. We need young people who will bring these values to their careers, whether in public service, the private sector, or nonprofits. Wellesley is an institution with a proud tradition of educating and empowering women to be exactly those kinds of leaders. In celebrating President Johnson's inauguration this afternoon, we recognize this college's impressive history and commend the college as it builds on its rich legacy. So to President Johnson, on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, congratulations as you step into this position, and best of luck as you steer the direction of Wellesley College in the years ahead. I look forward to continuing our work together.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Warren. I am now pleased to introduce Drew Gilpin Faust, the 28th president of Harvard University and the Lincoln Professor of History in Harvard's Faculty of Arts and Sciences, bringing greetings on behalf of institutions of higher learning. As president of Harvard, Faust has expanded financial aid to improve access to Harvard College for students of all economic backgrounds, and advocated for increased federal funding for scientific research. She has broadened the university's international reach, raised the profile of the arts on campus, embraced sustainability, launched edX, and promoted collaboration across academic disciplines and administrative departments.
Thank you. Thank you, faculty, students, staff, distinguished guests, and friends. What an honor and a personal pleasure it is to be here today to extend to Dr. Paula Johnson the greetings of her fellow college and university presidents. When Paula Johnson was a girl in Brooklyn, dreaming of becoming a doctor, she could not have envisioned this day. And yet there are times and places when the stars align. And for all of us who care about higher education, today is such a time and place. For my small part in today's events, that alignment is especially meaningful. You see, I am not the first Harvard president to welcome an extraordinary woman to the helm of this remarkable institution. In fact, I believe Wellesley was brave enough to invite me only because you have had 117 years to recover from the first time. Imagine for a moment the very first inaugural ceremony of this kind at Wellesley. It's 1899, a clear day in October. And standing just across the way inside brand new Houghton Chapel is Harvard President Charles William Eliot, who for 30 years had been shaping the evolution of the modern research university, a model that would transform higher education. And on this day, President Eliot is speaking to a crowd full of dignitaries in dark robes, including representatives of more than 30 colleges and universities, welcoming Caroline Hazard, the college's 5th president, to the company of educational leaders. The crowd that day doesn't have all of the Wellesley touchstones so familiar to us today. They never heard Nora Ephron skewer a platitude, or watched Diane Sawyer interview 38 rival gang members on Chicago's South Side, or saw Madeleine Albright face off with Vladimir Putin, using jewelry as a tool of foreign diplomacy. No alumna had yet appeared on the ballot for President of the United States. And no African-American girl with a dream from Brooklyn had vaulted through medical school to help transform women's health care and now take up this podium. But even in 1899, there was an atmosphere of hope, a movement vibrating with the promise of higher education for women. Then President Eliot begins to speak. Be of good courage, he tells the new president, because your work is an experiment, viewed by most, and I quote him there, as a luxury, a superfluity, with no clear goal in sight. And by the way, he observes, the tradition of male education is irrelevant to you, including most professional training and what he calls the strenuous exertion of grades, prizes, and competitive scholarships. He wonders out loud if women's intellectual capacities, in his words, are as unlike those of men as their bodily capacities. Colleges for women, he continues, could perhaps excel at teaching manners, and as he puts it, show the men's colleges how to do it. But, he continues, it remains to prove that the higher education of women will be as profitable to society as the higher education of men. Now, in the audience that day, among the dark-robed dignitaries, was another powerful figure who is not unrelated to my being here today, M. Carey Thomas, the Charles William Eliot of Bryn Mawr, the women's college that would one day become my alma mater. She believed, thank you, she believed, in the words of Wellesley co-founder Henry Faldurant, that the higher education of women is the assertion of absolute equality. It was no secret that this news had not quite reached Harvard, where Radcliffe was established as an annex, and a Harvard Medical School professor had advised that higher education for women diverted too much energy to their brains, ruining them, as he put it, by blighting their vital organs. On that cold day in October, President M. Carey Thomas of Bryn Mawr found Eliot's speech, and I quote her, so brutal, she wrote to a friend, that it made me hot from head to foot. In a blistering rebuttal the next week at Bryn Mawr, she said, a gauntlet had been thrown deliberately by the president of one of the greatest American universities in the face of an immense audience directly interested in the education of women. And she then referred to that dark spot of medievalism in President Eliot's otherwise luminous intelligence. I hope you won't mind if I offer my remarks today as a kind of do-over. Wellesley took up the gauntlet with a combination of grace and ferocity. It took up the gauntlet when Simone de Beauvoir, author of The Second Sex, visited Wellesley students in 1947 and found them, as she said, preoccupied not with thoughts of marriage, but in her words, with the ardor of their good intentions to address economic and social problems, to do work that serves some purpose. Wellesley continues that work in a world where girls still get shot or kidnapped for trying to go to school, where much female talent still remains untapped from laboratories to boardrooms, where equal work still chases equal pay. And today, brilliantly, it renews that commitment to make a difference in the world with this inauguration. I would like nothing more than to introduce to President Elliott, President Paula Johnson. And I'll just point out, she's wearing Harvard robes. Paula Johnson, the Harvard-Radcliffe student in the first class to admit men and women in equal numbers from a single pool of applicants. It was there as an undergraduate that her early mentor, Harvard's first tenured female biology professor, introduced her to the new field of women's health, encouraging her to ask new questions from new points of view. Paula Johnson, the young, clinically trained cardiologist who became the first female chief resident at Boston's Brigham and Women's Hospital. And dared to explore how gender affects the expression of diseases. Paula Johnson, leader in healthcare, inspired by a higher degree in public health and by physicians who aided civil rights workers on the Long March to Selma. In that same undaunted spirit, she created paths to better health for women and the underserved in Boston and around the world. Sandra Day O'Connor once quipped that many of the toughest challenges in her legal career came from what she called the debilitating medical condition of having two X chromosomes. Paula Johnson has shown us that having two X chromosomes actually can be a debilitating medical condition if you have a heart attack and your doctors don't know that women's heart disease is different from men's. She has shown us that treating people equally sometimes means paying close attention to their differences. And she has done so using the evidence-based scientific approach that Charles William Eliot, in his more enlightened moments, strove to establish as the hallmark of American higher education. Welcome, Dr. Paula Johnson. What a gift you and your presidency are to all of higher education. What a happy fusion day this is, a reply to the past, a call to the future. President Carolyn Hazard said in her own inauguration speech, "To bear fruit, learning must pass into life." Today, we sometimes call it the Wellesley effect. The capacity of higher education to touch the world. Congratulations, Wellesley. Brava for once again showing us how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, President Faust. We are honored to have Kathleen McCartney, the 11th president of Smith College, who brings greetings on behalf of institutions of higher learning dedicated to educating women. Kathleen McCartney's career and life are testaments to excellence, leadership, and the power of education. Born and raised in Medford, Massachusetts, McCartney is the eldest of 5 children. She attended public schools and was the first in her family to go to college. Graduating summa cum laude from Tufts in 1977 with a degree in psychology, she had planned to teach elementary school, but a college advisor and mentor encouraged her to pursue graduate studies. McCartney was accepted to Yale University, where she earned both her master's and her doctoral degrees in psychology.
Well, thank you for the warm welcome. It's a special privilege to be here today to welcome President Paula Johnson to the ranks of college presidents. As we have heard, she's a path-breaking scholar, dedicated physician, and inspiring teacher. Paula, I am particularly delighted to bring greetings on behalf of your sisters. No, I don't mean Leah, who is here today to celebrate with you. I mean your 6 other sisters, Barnard, Bryn Mawr, Mount Holyoke, Radcliffe, Smith, and Vassar. Now, I think it's only right to acknowledge our healthy sibling rivalry. For one thing, you're the oldest, but only by a year. Those of you here today with older siblings know that having a really impressive, really competent older sister is mostly a good thing, but it can sometimes be, well, let's face it, a bit annoying. So let's talk about our rivalry. Smith was the first women's college to acquire an atom smasher. Wellesley was the first liberal arts college to open a physics lab. Smith was the first women's college to join the NCAA. Wellesley was the first to have a women's intercollegiate rowing team, a team that this year made Wellesley the first women's college to win a national championship. At Smith, we have Sylvia Plath and Betty Friedan. Pretty good, right? At Wellesley, you have Nora Ephron and Diane Sawyer. We've got Gloria Steinem. You've got Madeleine Albright. We've got Thelma Golden, Director and Chief Curator of the Studio Museum in Harlem. You've got Maria Morris Homburg, founding curator of the Department of Photographs at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Okay, but this is big. We claim Charlotte York from Sex and the City. You've got Dr. Miranda Bailey from Grey's Anatomy. And I know from the Boston Globe that Paula is a fan. Me too. I really thought we had you beat when our fictional alumna, Selena Meyer, vice president on the show Veep, was appointed president of the United States this season. Thought we had you beat. But then it was brought to my attention that you have a real-life alumna who said something about breaking that highest, hardest glass ceiling. So no question, impressive older siblings can be a challenge, but they can also be tremendous teachers. And what Wellesley taught us all from its very beginnings is the world-changing impact of asking a simple, powerful question. Why not? Why not is a brave question, maybe even a radical question. It suggests a challenge to the status quo. It's what Elizabeth Cady Stanton asked in a world where women couldn't vote. It's what Rosa Parks asked when told she couldn't sit at the front of the bus. It's what countless other women and men who were prepared to question the social or political or cultural order of the day asked. Why not me? Why not us? Why not now? In 1915, Wellesley joined with Smith and two of our other sisters, Mount Holyoke and Vassar, to examine education in the United States. That conversation led to what was called the Four College Conference and the official recognition of our strong sisterhood. A decade or so later, we welcomed our other three sisters into the fold. 100 years later, Paula Johnson is the perfect 14th president for Wellesley. She embodies its commitment to excellence across disciplines, to creating opportunity for women, to balancing the traditional with the progressive. A look at Paula's remarkable career tells us that she, like Wellesley, has constantly looked at the way things are and dared to ask why not. Prior to 1990, Brigham and Women's Hospital had never had a woman as its chief resident. Paula Johnson asked why not. She stepped into one of the most demanding posts in medical training at one of the best hospitals in the world. She forged a path for others to follow. As she advanced the field of cardiology, she noticed that there were few facilities focused on heart disease in women. Again, she asked why not and created the Connors Center for Women's Health and Gender Biology, one of the first such facilities in the country. As a research scientist, Paula studied the ways in which heart disease presents differently, sometimes very differently, in women than in men. Yet she noted that there weren't different screening protocols, drug trials, or treatment regimens focused on women. Again, she asked why not and became a tireless advocate for women's health. In a 2013 TED Talk titled His and Her Healthcare, she made the case that women's health is an equal rights issue as important as equal pay. At their best, colleges like Wellesley and Smith not only teach women leadership, they model it. Leadership can be global, Paula has said, or just across the hall. Whether welcoming Mellon May's fellows, meeting faculty colleagues, or connecting with folks at the Lulu, Paula is already drawing people together and building community. She will model leadership at its best for the Wellesley community and beyond. As educators, we know that watching and working with others is one of the most transformative ways that residential liberal arts colleges nurture the habits of discovery, of rigor, of teamwork. Each of your sister institutions will learn from having you here, Paula, learning and leading alongside us. On behalf of your sisters, let me offer this. We're not only glad you are here, we are here for you. On those days when you ask why not, and the answer doesn't come easily, climb the Galen Stone Tower and look west and south. If you squint hard, you'll see us sisters, your sisters, urging you on. And as the night falls and the bells of the tower toll for the last time, look up. There in the night sky, you will find Pleiades, a cluster of stars named for the 7 daughters of Pleione, 7 sisters who, according to legend, changed into stars. That's what colleges and universities do at their best. They shape us, they change us, they transform us and allow us to brighten the night sky and shine a light for others to steer by. Paula, your sisters are privileged to have you among us. Welcome to the family.
Thank you, President McCartney. I am pleased now to invite Dr. Vivian W. Pinn, proud member of the Wellesley class of 1962 and senior scientist emerita and founding director at the Office of Research on Women's Health at the National Institutes of Health, to bring greetings on behalf of the community of scientists dedicated to women's health. She was most recently honored just 1 week ago when the University of Virginia Board of Visitors voted to rename Jordan Hall in honor of Dr. Pinn, a graduate of the University of Virginia School of Medicine, 1967.
Thank you. And on behalf of the community of scientists who are dedicated to women's health, I bring remarks of great pride and honor that a distinguished and much admired member of our field is being inaugurated as the 14th president of Wellesley College. What a milestone this is. Since the announcement, the excitement has just been palpable throughout the medical and research communities, and I am thrilled to represent that community today. You have selected a woman who is highly respected as an academician, an educator, a researcher, a mentor, an executive, and especially as a dynamic leader in women's health care and women's health research. Because of her stellar reputation and well-recognized achievements, many of which I have personally witnessed, this is a very easy task for me today. I have watched Paula Johnson emerge as an exemplary model of a committed, successful physician scientist, and administrator. And often when I'm asked who would I recommend for top positions, I have stated over and over that I really thought Paula Johnson was one of the best qualified for whatever position there might be. But I doubted that anyone would be able to move her from Harvard. Little did I know that that would bring her here to Wellesley. And I'm pleased. Her far-reaching influence has intensified and expanded over the years, only because of her proven abilities and her growing reputation that has been so well deserved. Now, I have known Paula from the time when she was a medical student, and she may refer to me as one of her mentors, but actually, I am the one who has learned so much from witnessing and experiencing her energy, her informed perceptions about women and their health and family experiences, and her exceptional talents as a mentor and supportive counselor to so many girls and women. During the recent renaissance of women's health, and finally the growing appreciation which she helped to promote of the importance of sex differences in the health of both women and men, Paula has been, as you have heard already this afternoon, right in the forefront, taking the lead in the evolution of women's health as a unique scientific and healthcare endeavor. How do I know this? How can I attest to this? Because as the founding director of the NIH Office of Research on Women's Health, this has been my career and life's focus now for over 25 years. And Paula has been integral to those efforts, serving not only on our strategic planning committee, but as a wonderful member of our NIH Advisory Committee on Research on Women's Health. Paula has the unique ability to synthesize complicated thoughts into precise and clear mandates. She is a thought leader among senior and accomplished scientists, which we benefited from and which all of us will benefit from her past work and from her future work here at Wellesley. But her efforts and leadership in women's health research are recognized far beyond just the NIH. Today, she has an international reputation in both the scientific and public domain. And let me emphasize that her voice has helped to ensure that the diversity of women and their communities are significantly represented in any policy and programmatic design. As a graduate of Wellesley myself, I personally take, yes, class of '62, I take great pride in the fact that Paula is the new president of our beloved college. As a student here at that time, one of few students of color on campus, I wanted to know that I was being provided with both the education and the full psychosocial support so that I would be able to reach my desired goals in life. Based on what I've seen and what I know of Paula, I am sure that she will be foremost in assuring that today all students will have that confidence in Wellesley. I have witnessed Paula, as an African-American woman from a modest background, demonstrate a respect for the importance of the very diversity that enriches the Wellesley experience. What excitement there has been in all communities, but especially in the minority community, about our new president and what this milestone for Wellesley means to the nation. Now, the theme of this inauguration is intersections. And some may ask, how does a woman physician get to be president and be a successful president of a liberal arts college? But Paula has the experience in women's health research that can strongly translate to advance intersections in the Wellesley academic environment. Medicine and science require academic excellence and a lifelong desire to learn. Isn't that the essence of a Wellesley education, with creativity of thought and critical examination of evolving knowledge? Women's health research, or women's health care, require a humanistic approach to be really effective. And isn't a passionate but humanistic approach to the individuality of each and every student critically important in this educational endeavor? Women's health research relies on an interdisciplinary collaboration among various and many social and scientific disciplines. Isn't the essence of a liberal arts education here one of respect and interaction between the multiplicity of departments and courses? Today, my journey has come almost full circle. I hope I've got a little few years to take it broader. But from having been a student to now seeing someone that I knew as a student assume the position of president. Today, I offer remarks on behalf of a woman I have enjoyed knowing as a mentee, as a friend, as a colleague, and now as the president of my college, of our college. A woman who will instill hope, and inspire the students of today and tomorrow. The women's health scientific community joins all of us in celebrating this wonderful event, and I extend on their behalf our congratulations to Paula and our congratulations to Wellesley for its wisdom in selecting her as this college's 14th president. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pinn. It is my pleasure to introduce Georgia Murphy Johnson, class of 1975 and the president of the Wellesley College Alumni Association, who brings greetings on behalf of Wellesley College alumni. A founder and partner at Johnson & Lawrence, Inc., a management consulting firm, Georgia has held senior level positions at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute and Price Waterhouse. At Wellesley, she is most proud to represent 3 generations of Wellesley women, including her mother and her daughter.
President Johnson, greetings from Wellesley's alumni, which boasts of more than 35,000 active members and is considered the world's strongest network of women. It is my honor to be representing this amazing alumni body. As you may surmise from the nearly 1,000 alumni who are here celebrating with you today, we are all very enthusiastic about getting to meet and to know you. I know your first obligations are to the students, faculty, and staff on campus, but I also know that you are planning many trips to visit alumni across the country and around the world. They will be delighted to meet you. Since your mother-in-law, Phyllis Sands, is from the class of 1946, you may already know something about our Wellesley alumni. We are a very committed bunch who always want to make things better for the college, for each other, and for the world. As you embark on your journey, I thought I would take this time to tell you a little bit more about the alumni body as a whole. We live in every state in the country and in 10 U.S. territories. We live in 103 countries, ranging from the UK to Bangladesh, from Montenegro to Botswana, from Brazil to the Philippines. Currently, our oldest class is the class of 1934, and our oldest alum is 104. One of the living members of the class of 1934 is Elizabeth Neal Banton, one of Wellesley's first African-American students. Our database indicates that Wellesley alumni have 182 different occupations. When you dig into those numbers further, you find that there are many lawyers, there are many doctors, but you also find that the highest number are teachers in colleges and universities and in primary and secondary schools all over the world, teaching and preparing future generations. No matter what the occupation, however, the one common thread among all alumni is that we live by Wellesley's motto of non ministrari, sed ministrare, not to be served, but to serve. As I said earlier, Wellesley women want to make things better. When your selection was announced, the Wellesley alumni Twitter world lit up with enthusiasm and anticipation of getting to meet you. As one of our alums wrote in response to your profile in Wellesley magazine, quote, "I continue to be astonished and grateful for the Wellesley continuum of magnificent presidents. Each is unique and in step with and ahead of her times. You are indeed the right president at the right time. The Wellesley alumni and I welcome you."
Thank you, Georgia. We will now hear from members of our campus community, bringing special greetings to the President. I first welcome Assistant Professor of English, poet, and poetry critic for The New Yorker, Dan Chasen, to the podium, bringing a poem written especially for this occasion. Dan?
Thank you. This poem, like all poems, is a true story. One of the most magnificent experiences a person can have, I think, in New England is to walk around this lake at sunset. And I'm one of the dog people, lovers, obsessives that gathers to walk my dog around the lake. So a couple weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, with it in mind to write something for this occasion, I walked counterclockwise around the lake, and then I went home and wrote this poem. Upside Down for Paula Johnson. An inner tube drifts idly on Lake Waban. A satellite blinks across the night sky. What depends on what is what the jay cries, but its own reflection is the sole reply. A dragonfly starring in its own minute, already elderly, reflects upon the scene. A voice that isn't the jay, isn't the fly, announces the altitude, turns off the lights. The satellite dreams it's an inner tube, bobbing in time on the starry water. The inner tube dreams it's a satellite, free in the dark, wide drift of night. You were sleeping, so I wrote this down. September 16th, 2016, a lake on the moon, a moon on the lake, and in between, a small, busy civilization, window by window, powers down to let the perfect darkness have its day. I wrote it down on a shiny screen, not to forget what hasn't happened yet. The water discovered its history in stars. The sky admired its signature on water. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven
Thank you so much for that. I am now honored to introduce Andrew Shannon, Provost and Dean of the College, who brings greetings on behalf of the faculty.
President Johnson, it is my honor to bring you greetings from the Wellesley College faculty, from 356 writers, researchers, scientists, artists, theorists, practitioners, scholars, performers, and deeply committed teachers. Each of us strives to create and transmit knowledge at the cutting edge of our individual fields. Collectively, we are heirs to a proud tradition of faculty engagement in the life of this institution. Over the decades, we have played a vital role in shaping Wellesley. After the College Hall fire a century ago, we mobilized to preserve the low-lying valleys on our campus, like this one, and to build the soaring academic quad on the hill at its center. In the early 1970s, as the wave of co-education crested, it was a faculty member and a president who took the critical stand in favor of our remaining a women's college. In more recent years, we have stepped up in support of environmental sustainability. We have expanded access to Wellesley by sharing our courses with the world through Wellesley X. We have redoubled our commitment to women and to the opening up of our definition of womanhood itself. And we have spoken out forcefully about Wellesley's responsibility to support academic freedom elsewhere in the world. We have always been passionately devoted to Wellesley's mission, to our students' education, and to their lifelong flourishing after Wellesley. And we are eager now to join with you in tackling this college's unfinished work. The unfinished work of equity. We have become a diverse, in some respects, a highly diverse community. Now we must create a college in which our collective culture shifts along with our membership, in which all our groups succeed equitably, and disparities in our students' educational experience disappear. The unfinished work of interdisciplinarity. We have created a department-centered curriculum that for a college of our size is incomparably rich. Now we must put our citizenship of the college on a par with our departmental affiliations and support a new generation of collaborations across disciplinary boundaries. Finally, the unfinished work of becoming a research college. We have assembled a faculty of first-rate researchers, creators, and scholars. Now we must build an infrastructure that fully supports our work and enhances its connection to our core mission of undergraduate education. President Johnson, if I may say, Paula, in these few short months since you have joined us, we have been buoyed by the optimism and purpose you have brought to our campus. We are filled with a sense of possibility that once again, challenges such as these can yield to an inspired partnership between the president and her faculty. At our best, that has been our history, and we are confident under your leadership it will be our future. on behalf of all my faculty colleagues, welcome to our inspiring 14th president.
Thank you, Andy. We are pleased to have Catherine Suma, class of 1983 and director of the Science Center, bring greetings on behalf of the administrative staff. Kathy?
Thank you, Laura. It's an honor for me to be here representing the administrative staff today. My colleague, Veronica Brandstrader, and I were privileged to serve on the search committee that brings us to this day today. As we began that search process, we heard a great deal from fellow staff, both administrative and union, about their hopes and dreams. We could see their faces light up when they talked about what they loved about being part of this incredible community and what they envisioned for its future. Now that the search is completed, and even though you've been here only a short time, Dr. Johnson, I think my staff colleagues would agree that we feel like we've hit the jackpot. To say that we are excited to work with you would be an understatement. Administrative staff are in many ways the worker bees of this campus. Our jobs have us located from one end of campus to the other and everywhere in between. We are your departmental administrative assistants, your instructional technologists and librarians, your technical and professional staff, all of who provide support for faculty in their important work. Likewise, we support students in myriad ways. Administrative staff in admissions, career education, counseling and health services, residence life, religious and spiritual life, the class deans, and our cultural advisors, and many, many others across the campus all put students at the center of their work every day. Elsewhere on campus, we are the people responsible for raising money for this college, and for managing money and for investing the money of this college. Administrative staff in the alumni office and beyond build and steward relationships with our graduates. In fact, many of us are alums, and still more of us are not. But however we got here, every one of us, wherever we're located and whatever our role, is dedicated to the success of this campus and its mission. We share a common purpose in that we work tirelessly, and for many of us, behind the scenes, in service of the success of our students and our faculty. When they succeed, we succeed. And today, Dr. Johnson, we stand ready to partner with you to help ensure your success as our new president. We look forward to bringing our expertise, our commitment, and our caring to our work together in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. It is my pleasure to introduce Jack Trabucco, Sergeant with our campus PO, who brings greetings on behalf of the union staff.
Thank you, Laura, and good afternoon. It is my distinct honor to welcome all of you on this historic day. President Paula Johnson, on behalf of both unions at Wellesley College, the Campus Police Union, and the Maintenance and Service Employees Union, I extend my warmest greeting. Aside from representing the two college unions, I am also the proud father of a 2016 alumna. So today, I wear two hats. No wonder this is so uncomfortable. The people that I happily represent keep our campus safe, clean, beautiful, and running smoothly. We are police officers. landscapers, custodians, plumbers, and food service workers. We aid the sick and mend the injured. We are carpenters, metal mechanics, and painters. We are arborists, horticulturists, and locksmiths. We maintain athletic facilities. We repair boats and sporting equipment. We are automobile and small engine mechanics. We are animal care technicians. We maintain phone systems and data networks. We transport people. We generate electricity that cool and heat our buildings. Yes, it is obvious that our jobs are diverse, but we unite in our great understanding and pride in the duties we provide to the Wellesley campus at large. We are dedicated to maintaining the highest satisfaction from all our community, colleagues, students, visitors, and friends. My first contact with President Johnson was through an email that I sent her the first day she arrived on campus. I sent her words of welcome. She replied promptly the following day with a kind email thanking me for my message. Not only did she respond to me, she responded to every single email she received on campus. Very, very impressive. In the email she sent to me, she told me her door will always be open for any concern, big or small. For this, I thank her and know that the college is being held in capable and caring hands. Wellesley College students are extraordinary, the cream of the crop. Even though they arrive in their teens, they immediately stand out as incredibly intelligent, caring, and polite people. Let's fast forward a few years and they graduate. When they return to campus for reunions, etc., they frequently stop by to visit us. They come bearing joyful stories of adulthood and updates on their incredibly successful futures we knew they were bound for. But even as grown adults, they always find time to thank us for all that we did for them during their formative college years. Admittedly, most of the time we are being thanked for keeping their beta fish alive over the summer or making sure their plants actually got watered during winter break. We never forget the students even after they've been gone from Wellesley 5, 10, 15 plus years. These, President Johnson, are the people whom you will have the honor and pleasure of leading. These are times of great challenge and opportunity. Speaking on behalf of my union colleagues, we look forward to working together with our new president through moments of difficulty and moments of celebration. With her and our team, we know that Wellesley's standard in providing a second-to-none educational experience will undoubtedly be ensured. Thank you, and good luck, President Johnson.
Thank you, Jack, very much. I am delighted to introduce Zineb Yunus, College Government President and member of the Green Wellesley class of 2017, to bring greetings on behalf of the students.
I would like to ask all of you to think back to the time when you were applying to college. Think back to not what only you sought out in each institution, but also to recall what you wanted from your college experience, the first phase of your young adult journey. In my conversations with friends, peers, alumni, and faculty, it seems that we all looked for a sense of community at our new homes. Though we all came to Wellesley for different reasons, the community we find here is arguably one that made us stay. The Wellesley community is one that we all take great pride in. It is comprised of students not only from across the nation, but from across the world. The rich and diverse range of experiences, backgrounds, and views represented within our student body make for 4 years of constant learning and personal growth. We are all motivated to pursue our individual goals, while at the same time, we are united by this common goal and desire to improve our community, be it the Wellesley community or the global. President Johnson, you have your reasons for why you chose Wellesley, but it is evident to us students that you are committed to the betterment of this community. Now, many of us first interacted with President Johnson back in February when it was announced that she was named the 14th president of this college. The excitement felt on that day was palpable, the optimism we all felt, a feeling that has not subdued, but has strengthened. And as we see her walk around campus and interact with us, ask us about our days and what we do at Wellesley, we all jump at the chance to get a selfie. A request that she kindly obliges each time. Her enthusiasm and love for Wellesley radiates. I thank you for not only what you have done for Wellesley thus far, but for what you will accomplish and do during your presidency. On behalf of the students, President Johnson, I am delighted to welcome you to Wellesley. Welcome home.
I would like to thank the Wellesley College Choir for bringing their gift of song to us today. Now we turn to the moment in the program when we formally induct Paula Johnson as president of Wellesley College. Here come. And transfer to her the charter, seal, and keys to the college. With me is Deborah De Hoyos, the vice chair of the Board of Trustees, and I'd like to ask Andy Shannon to join us at the podium. And now, Paula, would you please join us? The charter, I guess that's it. No, that's the corporate seal. No? All right. First, I give you the charter of the college dated March 17th, 1870, and as enacted by the Massachusetts General Court. This charter is your basic authority to direct and supervise the instruction of the young women who come to Wellesley seeking higher education. Okay. Next is the corporate seal. The seal includes the motto of the college, and you will cause it to be imprinted upon official documents, and particularly upon the diplomas of graduating students. You will wear it as a component of the formal regalia of the president, as a constant reminder of the higher purpose of the education received here. Non ministrare sed ministrare. Finally, I entrust to you these 3 keys. These keys were designated at Caroline Hazard's inauguration in 1899 as the keys to the chapel, the library, and College Hall. And they were designated by Mildred McAfee Horton at her inauguration as symbolic of the means of opening the doors of higher spiritual, intellectual, and community life. And with the formal transfer of the charter, the seals, and the keys completed, it is my great privilege and pleasure to congratulate President Paula Johnson. So I salute President Johnson, and I hear all of you and I welcome you to the podium for your remarks.
I love you too. Good afternoon. Members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and faculty emeriti, students, staff, and the alumni, it is a great, great honor for me to join you at this remarkable institution. Thank you. I am honored as well by the opportunity to build on the outstanding legacy of my esteemed predecessors, and I feel especially fortunate that Diana Chapman Walsh, Nan Cohan, and Barbara Newell are here with us, with me today. There are so many to thank who have played a role in making this ceremony possible, and time does not allow me to mention everyone by name, but each of you, please know how grateful I am for your efforts. I must recognize the amazing inauguration co-chairs, Professor Pat Berman and Trustee Ellen Goldberg-Luger, the dedicated committee, and Marianne Cooley. Thank you for your wise counsel, your hard work, and the support that has been so important to me. And I want to give a special thank you to our students who so generously shared their hopes and wishes for Wellesley's future in your 10-day countdown to today. Thank you. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Harvard President Drew Faust, Smith President Kathleen McCartney, and Dr. Vivian Pinn, esteemed colleagues from across the country and around the world, my friends and my loving family, my dear father, Edward Johnson, a true pillar of strength, my husband and my 2 children, my husband, my 2 children, my sister and her family, and so many others who hail from my home city of Brooklyn. A special recognition to my mother-in-law, Phyllis Sands, Wellesley class of 1946. Thank you all for being here. You bring meaning and joy to this landmark day. Here on this podium, I may appear to be alone, but that is not the case. With me, within me, are so many who have carried me to this moment. I am here today because of a 30-year career in women's health and my deep commitment to women's education. I stand before you on the shoulders and hard-won wisdom of so many women who laid the groundwork and pointed the way. My Brooklyn-born mother, Grace Adina Johnson's fierce belief in the power of education. My grandmother, Louise Young, who struggled with depression, which inspired me to enter medicine with the ultimate mission of discovering how women's and men's biology differ in ways that go far beyond our reproductive functions. I stand on the shoulders of my most important mentors and role models. Ruth Hubbard, Harvard University's first tenured woman biology professor, a scholar who broke with tradition to explore the deep connections between women's biology and social inequities. Women such as Shirley Chisholm, my unbought and unbossed Brooklyn Congresswoman who, yeah, thanks. Who burst on the scenes at the crossroads of the civil rights and women's movements in the 1970s. In these women, I see the power of education to change women's lives and create a better world. I see the power of shared experience, shared ideas, shared commitments across time and space, across cultures and identities. I give gratitude to them and for them. I give gratitude to be here and now, looking at our future together. I was drawn to Wellesley by many things, for its extraordinary past and its hopeful future, by its position at the apex of liberal arts education, by the breadth and depth of its distinguished faculty, by the readiness and relevance of its student body, by the defining, indelible beauty of its campus, by the powerful sisterhood that is the Wellesley Alumni Network. But the most compelling draw was my conviction that the surest way to change our fast-moving and complex world is through empowering women. There is no better place to accelerate and maximize the full potential of women than Wellesley College. It's often assumed that Wellesley College came into being simply because women lacked opportunities for higher education in the late 1800s. But in fact, there was another reason. It was the compelling vision for democracy and equal opportunity. Wellesley had its beginnings in Pauline and Henry Durant's Back Bay living room, where Pauline and some 30 other women came together to tackle the urgent social challenges of post-Civil War industrialization. Their particular concern was the droves of vulnerable young women flooding into cities to work in factories or as domestic servants with unsafe working and living conditions, fueling the movement known as progressivism. In response to the fast-growing needs of these young women, Pauline Durant and her allies founded the Boston YWCA, the first YWCA in the nation, now celebrating its 150th anniversary. Yes. The YWCA provided young women with room and board along with courses in clerical work. 4 years later, in 1870, Wellesley College was founded. As Pauline and Henry Durant saw it, the nation's future could only be secured through vastly expanded access to childhood education. The future would require teachers, a profession just opening up to women on a large scale. The Durants' commitment to socioeconomic diversity and expanded opportunity extended to Wellesley College itself, which welcomes students from across the economic spectrum. Indeed, the Durants had a special affection for the less well-off students, referred to as calico girls, whom they saw as every bit the equal of their wealthy velvet girl peers. Today, the vision of the founders of Wellesley carries renewed urgency. We live in an era when the very notion of fact-based knowledge is under fire. In what an Economist cover story chillingly termed a post-truth world. As we prepare for an historic election, one that has a Wellesley alumna on the ballot, Hillary Rodham Clinton, the first woman ever nominated for the U.S. presidency by a major party, we are brought face to face with the gravity of our choices. The need for a liberal education shines forth brightly, perhaps more brightly than ever before. Like Henry and Pauline Durant, we live in a time of accelerated change, and the planet-threatening challenges we face have only grown. Climate change, global pandemics, terrorism and violence, widening disparities between rich and poor, globalization. These are just a few of the urgent issues that we now confront. Our future, the world's future, will hinge on our ability to put aside differences for the common good, to join forces across political parties, across cultures, across belief systems, and across every boundary, virtual and physical, that you can imagine. But to do so requires a basic grasp of facts, the capacity to distinguish fact from fiction, a core value that is at the heart of a liberal education. In the words of my predecessor, Kim Bottomley, liberal education was designed to be the education truly necessary to ensure good decisions and thus a good society. In sum, it's the lifeblood of a healthy democracy. As part of my Wellesley education, I recently came upon a speech by Wellesley's second president, the charismatic Alice Freeman Palmer, only 27 when she assumed this role in 1882. Amazing. The title is Why Go to College? And I was struck by its ongoing and modern relevance, by how clearly I could trace the line between then and now. Freeman Palmer's focus was what she termed the larger gifts of college life. Interestingly, she opted to spend little time on the benefits of gaining new knowledge. These, she said, may be assumed. Instead, her focus was looking far downstream on an array of lifelong benefits conferred by a college education. Topping her list were happiness and physical health, which came as a delightful surprise to me. As a physician who has spent my career in women's health and as a new college president with a deep commitment to students' well-being, I was inspired to see how very deep these commitments run. I was also struck by Freeman Palmer's focus on the gifts of friendship with people very different from ourselves, foreshadowing our own commitments to inclusion and diversity, and by her view of college as a place where students connect with a larger sense of possibility, a larger vision. To be sure, she deploys religious language that would be out of place today, but her broader vision, her deeper message, her core values feel very much alive. Taken as a whole, this early address anticipates what I view as the single most important question for liberal arts colleges today. How do we unleash the riches embedded in crucial intersections among people, among ideas, across communities and cultures, through time and space? Over these past 3 months, I've turned to many of you to listen, to begin to build our vision. I've asked, where will our efforts yield the greatest possible impact? What are the hallmarks of a great liberal arts college in the 21st century? I've given these questions much thought, and I want to share 3 answers, all of which reflect my belief that great transformational change occurs at intersections. I want to speak in particular to three key concepts: intersections of academic disciplines, intersections of the liberal arts college with the larger world, and the most important intersection of all, how do we unlock the full potential of these synergies? Let's start with academic disciplines. I believe that the great liberal arts college must be ambitious and creative in its efforts to leverage these increasingly important intersections. Our esteemed faculty is replete with world-class scholars, researcher teachers who push forward the frontiers of knowledge. But as remarkable as they are individually, they are infinitely more so together, connecting in community, exchanging ideas, and advancing pedagogy. Indeed, it is more apparent with every passing year that no single academic discipline can hope to address the world's greatest challenges. To the contrary, our times demand what is often called T-shaped expertise, a deep grounding in one area combined with a capacity to think and work on a far broader stage. This message has been coming from all directions. Some years back, a committee of distinguished engineers set out to establish a list of the grand challenges for engineering. The final list of 14 was wide-ranging, from making solar energy economical to providing access to clean water and better medicines. As diverse as they are, each of these grand challenges shares one thing: all will require work across disciplines to work together at the intersection of shared knowledge and paths to look to the future. I've also seen this firsthand in my own academic work on women's health, biology, sociology, anthropology, history, and literature. All of these have shaped and informed my work in fundamental ways: how I think, how I problem solve, how I view both science and the world. The contributions I've been privileged to make can be directly traced to the power of a liberal education, to the awareness that the way forward lies in the potent synergies that live in intersections. The arts and humanities merit special attention here. It is through the study of art, literature, history, music, languages, philosophy, and religion that we explore what it means to be fully human. We find our place within traditions that ignite our imaginations. More than any other fields of study, the arts and the humanities fortify us to do the work that we are called to do. If the sciences tell us how, the humanities and arts remind us why. Which is not to say that the arts and humanities do not also have their practical education applications, and far more often than many assume. One standout example at Wellesley is a cross-disciplinary course focused on Siberia's Lake Baikal, often called the soul of Siberia. The course begins on campus with the study of Siberian literature, religion, and history. Students then travel to Lake Baikal, where they examine disruptions to the lake's ecology. They come to see how the humanities and sciences build on and enrich each other, all while making real contributions to the science of climate change. Such marriages across disciplines are the way of the future, and the potential I see at Wellesley is extraordinary. Second, the great liberal arts college must expand and cultivate its intersections with the larger world. One of the things that has most struck me about Wellesley students is their yearning to make a difference. To paraphrase the theologian Frederick Buechner, they are in search of that place where their own deep gladness meets the world's deep hunger. This yearning for meaning, for purpose, goes far beyond the anecdotal and far beyond a transitory youthful idealism. Rather, it is at the heart of what it means to be human. Recent research points to lifelong benefits from integrating learning with service. While most studies of college graduates have focused on near-term outcomes, researchers from Gallup and Purdue University have sought to get a handle on what happens in the years after graduation. Do certain college experiences correlate with a happy and engaged adulthood? Their answer, a resounding yes. Two kinds of college experiences in particular stand out: emotional support and deep experiential learning. And the impact is far from minor. Graduates who check both boxes are twice as likely to be engaged in their work and otherwise thriving in adulthood. Now, for some, this may come as a wake-up call. For Wellesley, it's a clear affirmation of our priorities, of our core values, of our view that service is integral to a liberal arts education as embodied in the Wellesley College motto, not to be ministered unto, but to minister. One stellar example is the Madeleine Corbell Albright Institute for Global Affairs, named for the former Secretary of State and Wellesley alumna. Each year, a group of Wellesley students become Albright Fellows. They work in teams to tackle pressing global challenges, from the refugee crisis to the threats to our democratic institutions. Summer internships take students around the world, while visiting experts, including Secretary Albright herself, bring the real-world practice to Wellesley. Another excellent example is the WE Lab, and that's short for the Wellesley Engineering Lab, where students devise engineering solutions to real human problems. Here again, learning takes place both on campus and around the world as students test drive and implement their innovations. Among recent successes is the installation of an improved rain catchment system in a Nicaraguan village where water is often in dangerously short supply. So powerful are these initiatives that they've sparked excitement across our current and prospective student body and among our faculty. More and more, these initiatives and others like them are influencing pedagogy. Looking ahead, one of my primary goals in leading Wellesley is to build on our current intersections with the larger world. Inter-institution-wide transformation tends to start with looking outward. Third, the great liberal arts college must celebrate and nurture interconnections with the goal of unleashing the full power of their synergies. I believe that this starts with a culture of belonging. In recent years, many have questioned the notion that colleges should prioritize being warm and welcoming places, the idea being that this is at odds with rigorous learning. I reject that wholeheartedly. We can, and I believe we must, have a rigorous learning community that is also a true home in the best sense of that word. Regardless of our race, ethnicity, age, religion, physical capacities, regardless of what we believe, where we come from, or who we love, all of us, all of you, deserve to be seen and appreciated for exactly who you are. This is true of all liberal arts colleges, but it has a special significance at a school that has as its exclusive mission the education of women to make a positive difference in the world. For all their many and wonderful differences, Wellesley students arrive with a shared awareness of what it means to be a woman at this historical moment. They know that for all the progress women have made since Wellesley's founding, women face distinctive challenges. They know that for all the shattered and cracked glass ceilings, women are still vastly underrepresented at the highest levels across professions and industries. They know that women face a unique set of challenges, including persistent efforts to curtail reproductive rights, inadequate family leave policies that hit women hardest, and the widespread persistence of unequal pay for equal work. They know that the world is far better off with women at the table or leading the meeting, whether in government, business, academia, or any field where Wellesley women make their mark. For all these reasons and so many more, Wellesley students understand the transformative power of a place where women's leadership is synonymous with leadership. A place where their gender will never bar them from reaching their full potential. A place where they will never feel out of place because they are a woman. A place where they are at home. That said, the liberal arts college must be a certain kind of home, one where truth and knowledge are seen as primary values at the core of who we are and what we do. One where it's understood that growth comes from surmounting challenges, those that exist within us as well as around the world. The human mind has a tendency to simplify, to reflexively adopt what Nigerian writer Chimamanda Adichie calls the single story. This is a story that flattens and reduces. This type of singular story is never true. By contrast, the great liberal arts college pushes us beyond this to replace the impoverished single story with a far larger narrative that enriches and illuminates. It recognized that empathy flourishes on friendship and respect, on exposure to new ways of seeing and thinking. In the words of writer Toni Morrison, we must visualize, imagine, dream up, and enter the other before we presume to solve their problems or ours. So how do we go about this? How do we ensure that we make the most of our many interconnections? How do we fulfill the enormous promise of Wellesley in the 21st century? We must apply the same spirit of innovation that we bring to science and other academic disciplines to the work of building a community that both provides a sense of belonging and supports the highest standards for liberal arts education. This isn't going to happen simply because we want it to. It must be a major initiative, intentional, data-driven, focused on impact. Wellesley has come a long way from those early conversations in Henry and Pauline Durant's 19th century living room. At the same time, our original commitments rung strong and deep. Happiness, health, friendship, service to a vision far larger than ourselves. These were among the gifts of college cited by Alice Freeman Palmer more than 100 years ago. They remain at the heart of what we do, a touchstone for the ages. Then, as now, Wellesley holds a singular vision: to educate whole women, to make the world whole. While time hasn't changed our core mission, it requires us to evolve, to shape our efforts to fit the needs of the 21st century. Never in our recorded history has the complexity and speed of change been faster than our ability to keep up with it. Educating the next generation to face this pace of change, this complexity, is the consummate challenge for the liberal arts college of the 21st century. This challenge must be met with all the force we have. The force that can be found at the intersections of disciplines, the force of looking outward, whether just outside our doors or to the other side of the globe, the force that occurs when we can, as Toni Morrison put it, enter the other. Now is the time to harness this sense of urgency, and no one is better poised to meet, lead, and indeed minister this challenge than women, and women with a Wellesley education. To act on these imperatives will be our responsibility and our joy. I, as your president, hear this call and pledge to mobilize our human and capital resources to live into Wellesley's greatest possibilities. This moment is our moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula, for your eloquent and really inspiring words. They touched me, and I know that they touched everyone here. I invite us all to pause for a moment of joyful reflection. The Wellesley Carillon will play once more, and then we will be joined by the Reverend Gloria White Hammond and Rabbi Elaine Zecker for the benediction.
Praise is for this day, for this magnificent gathering, for this remarkable academy of learning, for this moment in time. Holy One of blessing, your presence fills all creation. We have much to be grateful for. You have kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to share in this celebration together. Baruch atah Adonai, shehechianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh.
And so while we are here, let us go back to the very beginnings. Since we are in the epicenter of intellectual and scientific pursuit, let us appreciate the dawn of humanity through the Big Bang of explosive energy that prompted our world into being. Through the infinite marker of time and the evolving nature of the universe, we, flesh and blood, mind and body, inhabited by life-giving breath, took form to develop, find purpose, and make meaning. But
that is not the whole story. For while we are here, let us also recognize that there is divinity running through us. Genesis calls it B'Tselem Elohim. Each of us is made and created in the image of God. How could this be so? Look around us. Really, look around us. We are different. Male, female, transgender, non-binary, various gender and sexual identities, different communities, and diverse countries. The color of our skin is not the same. Our heights, our ages, our talents, our perspectives, our test scores, unalike.
And yet, you and I share that we are made in the image of God. B'Tselem Elohim. The sacred pulses through each of us, connecting us one to the other. The energy that flows between us is holy. B'Tselem Elohim. Made in the divine image is the great equalizer. We are not better and certainly not worse than the other. What is holy is our uniqueness and at the same time our shared sacred humanity made in the image of the divine.
And this place of learning, discovery, and appreciation is also the great equalizer, because knowledge breeds sacred purpose to foster lives with meaning for oneself and to impact the world for good and justice. You are not alone in this pursuit. Wellesley College students, beloved alumna, precious supporters, devoted leaders, and honored guests.
Your new president shines a light into the future as she brings her devotion to the human heart and soul and body and mind. She understands the power of the life force coursing through each of us, energizing our ability to develop, find purpose, and make meaning. She stands beside you, and she stands with you.
Made in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim, your new president brings her humanity and appreciation of each person's individual abilities to contribute to the greater good. Help her as she helps you shine light on your great capacity.
And so, in this sacred historical moment, oh God, we end as we began. Thank you. Thank you for the sacrifices of ancestors who could not even begin to imagine the rainbow assortment that we see today. We are here because they were there. Thank you for these students, these women leaders, these who are our brightest hopes and our greatest promise. Oh God, we yield unto them a world, a nation that is in woeful need of their intellect, their ingenuity, their courage, and their chutzpah. May they rarely be well behaved so that they might always make history. And we thank thank you for Paula Johnson. Thank you for PJ, for this wife, for Kate and Jonathan's mother, for Leah's sister, for Mr. Johnson, and for Mother Grace, who loved their daughter into reality. Oh God, grant her with the grace to extend a hand and say, I'm sorry, and with the grit to put that same hand on her hip and say, I don't think so. Bless Paula.
Holy One of blessing, whose presence fills this space and the universe, you are with us, moving through and among us. You are the spark in our soul and a power greater than all of us. You bring this community together for greater purpose. Sanctify their lives, and may they, led, guided, and inspired by President Paula Johnson, go forward with strength, courage, and grace.
And so, a benediction is simply a blessing. And as we finish this blessing, we're going to ask Paula to come forward, and we're going to invite you to share in the benediction or the blessing. It is the tradition of many people of faith that when you're asking for blessings upon someone, that you touch them and that you extend your hand to them. So we're going to ask that you would stand, and if you would just stretch a hand toward Paula. You might want to take another hand and put it on the shoulder of someone else who's standing near you and share in this blessing.
As long as they give you permission. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
And you can repeat after me. May the light of God's presence shine on you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence uplift you.
May
and move through you.
And move through you.
And bring you peace.
And bring you peace. And let us all say, Amen. Amen.
Or you can say, Amen, honey.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you. That was extraordinary.
I want to thank Reverend Dwight Hammond and Rabbi Zecker. As we conclude the ceremony, I invite all to stand and join me in singing the hymn, America the Beautiful. Victoria Williams, Wellesley class of 2017, will lead us. Following the singing, guests are asked to please be seated for the recession. Thank you.
So beautiful for spacious